Good evening, everybody. Good evening indeed. Welcome to another round of the Race Anywhere World Series of the United States in the second season here on Absolute Sim Racing. Boy, it's a noisy place to be tonight, is it not? Of course, we're at the wonderful Donington Park, located right in the centre of the UK near Derby and right next to East Midlands Airport. This circuit is a real favourite with a lot of drivers and fans alike. Fantastic for spectating. It's very wide and open, but with a lot of undulation to go with it as well. And that's what makes it quite unique. With a lot of circuits where you have these big drops and huge climbs, you don't always get a lot of space around that to watch the racing. But Donington Park really does offer quite a lot for drivers and spectators alike, as mentioned. And we are here, of course, to witness GT3 machinery being pushed to its limit. Hello, everybody. My name is Chaz Draycott, and I'm delighted to be back once again at the very early hours of the morning in the UK to bring you this action. So, how's it looking so far during practice? Well, typically, things aren't grouped once again. I've had a bit of an issue with it this week, to be honest with you, so I do apologise for this. But there you go. We'll have the groups and so on the left-hand side. It looks at the moment, though, like Harry Wills is the man to beat. He's currently fastest in his Twisted Racing team, Audi R8 LMS GT3. Harry always quick, to be fair to him. And he is about 0.2 of a second faster than Jonathan Ouellette, although overall, Dean Timms is actually second fastest. It's incredibly close in this opening session. But of course, this won't count for anything. The drivers have no qualifying sessions or anything to worry about in this championship. Their grid positions are basically the reverse championship order. We have a new driver out there tonight as well, just in front of Harry Wills on track, Thomas Fisher. He's listed as a privateer, no team name given, but it looks to me like he's in another one of the Vulture Motorsports cars, potentially in that Porsche 911 GT3R. Under some serious pressure from Harry right now. Love the sound of that Porsche. We have quite a few of them in the field, but mainly it's Ferraris. There's a couple of Lamborghinis as well. Of course, Sim Party Racing's gorgeous livery of Matthew Green. He's in the number 4 Huracan GT3. And yes, Justin, we can keep the intervals up if you'd prefer that, yeah? That's absolutely fine. Usually we just tend to keep the gaps from the leaders, but we have the intervals. It's just that we have it set so they don't update so frantically, because it's half impossible to read a lot of the time. So that's sort of the last time that they were brought up, and that's the gap between each of their times. When it's qualifying, we'll keep it to gaps for now, just so you know how far off the lead everyone is. As a bunch of cars go off at turn 1. Matthew Green involved. James Hebb also went off as well at Redgate. Here's Lydon Lee in the Heyman Motorsports car. A car that looks like it's got no bonnet, to be honest with you. He's right behind Jonathan Ouellette in the green Ferrari. I believe that's a twisted livery as well for Jonathan. Great to see Dave Menino back out with us as well. Dave's had a very, very interesting season so far, with a race win at rounds 2 and 3 and finishing round 1 a little bit further down the order. I think he was 4th. Yeah, he was 4th. There's 5 points between each position as there's a car stopped. That is one of the BMWs which has come to a halt. Trying to see who that was, but for some reason it didn't tell me who that was there for a second. Usually it does. That was one of the BMWs though, having a long old spin. But yeah, Dave Menino leads the championship at the moment. He's got 15 points over the next 3 drivers, who are all tied. Jonathan Ouellette, Harry Wills and Daniel Tenorio, all tied on points for 2nd, 3rd and 4th in the championship. Then they've got 5 points over Ryan Koprovsky. In the the Pro-Ams, it is Dean Timms leading the way. He's on 220 points with a 15-point lead over Jeremy Littleton, who is also out there tonight. He's 6th place at the moment. Only 5 points ahead of this man, Gary Brown, in the FTR Esports Porsche 911 GT3R. Then it's Jay Steffi and Taylor Lane, another 5 points each behind for those guys. Michael J. Fowler is tying for the top of the AM class in his Ferrari. Justin Delano in second place. And actually, it's a three-way tie. Daniel Florea also in that tie as well. I only just realised that Justin is both racing and watching the stream. I was wondering why the names added up, Justin. Don't be worrying about our intervals, you be worrying about racing, son. But right now, it is very, very close in all of the championships. Obviously, 3 rounds completed so far. It is a 10-round season. This is only the 4th of them here at Donington Park. And you can see the times changing ever so quickly. Only a few minutes left of this practice session, and then we will get the race underway. It's a 1 hour and 15-minute race, which does promote pit stops. We've had about 2 pit stops per race per driver so far. Gary Brown, though, looking good in this Porsche, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Casey Metzger is also off the road in his Ferrari. Just creeping around. Here's Mark Sigelkow in the 034 Motorsport Porsche. Pushing his way on up the hill. Just trying to check the times and see who is the closest. Obviously, we can show you this on the left-hand side. There are a few of them. I mean, look at Matthew Green there behind Errol Urixoy. Only 10 thousandths of a second between those two. Heb is only 21 thousandths of a second off Stephen Martinez. It's quite a short lap here. It's barely even a minute around this Donington Park circuit, so it's going to be nice and close. Thank you very much, Justin, for your very kind words. And yes, that's very true. It is a requirement that 2 pit stops are made during this race. So silly old me has failed to point out that detail, but thank you. Let's go on board with the Porsche for a sec, shall we? My God. Someone needs to tell Mark to put some soundproofing in this thing and turn it down, but what a noise. Oh, that's going. Nearly gone. Just about keeps it together. And cracks on again. Bit of a blink in and out for him there. James Pearce in the Ferrari hasn't put a time in yet, but James is very, very quick indeed. I believe he put it on pole for the pre-season test, the pre-qualifying at Suzuka at the start of the season. But yeah, as mentioned, James very, very quick indeed. Certainly not one to be overlooked in this championship. And speaking of not being overlooked, of course, we do thank all of our sponsors as part of this series as well. Sim3D, a fantastic partner to have, as well as Go for the Gap as well. Make sure you check those guys out. And thanks as always to the guys at World Series Leagues for putting on such a good show for me to commentate on. And of course, speaking of putting on the show, don't forget to like the video here on Absolute Sim Racing, and of course subscribe to the channel as well. We have plenty coming your way in terms of sim racing, that is. And it's a great, great honour to be working for the guys. Really do enjoy it. And this is Errol Urixoy, who just missed out on the championship last night in the Race Anywhere Porsche Cup of the US. Whoa, that's a scary, scary moment there. On his way to the pits. Here's a good place to be. Leiden Lee's Lamborghini sounding absolutely stunning as ever as he makes his way onto the start-finish straight here. He's got the number 22 car just in front of him. I believe that's Joseph Smith for Team Prema. It is, with gold wheels on the car. Well, we all know that gold wheels is always an absolute win. So well done to Joseph for having fantastic taste. Drew Neubauer's off the road. That's down at the old hairpin, is it not? Have a look what's happened to Drew here. On the way in. Oh yeah, just snaps the car around on the downshift, and around she goes. It's only a matter of seconds now before this session is complete, and the drivers will take to the grid for the 4th round of the season. Can't believe we're already at round 4. It's incredible how quickly these races have come about. It's certainly been enjoyable to broadcast so far, and I hope it continues that way. It's going to be a race of lap traffic tonight. There's going to be a lot of lap traffic around for these guys to look at. Because it's such a short lap, they are going to lap each other very quickly, especially as they leave nearly a 30-second gap. Sorry, a 10-second gap to each class. So it's going to be over 20 seconds separating each of them. And that's if you only consider the first cars in each group. So there is going to be a hell of a spread between the three classes. Oh, that got messy, boys. That got very messy there. That's Jeff Carollo, who needs to sort his numbers out on his car in the Vulture Motorsports machine. He's down as a privateer, though. Another one that's not provided a team name, I don't think. Anyway, let's take a look at our grid, shall we? We've got James Pearce on pole position alongside Tyler Campbell. Then it's Daniel Tenorio and Harry Wills, Jonathan Ouellette and Dave Menino. Next up, our fan club has arrived in chat. John Cooper and Lydon Lee make up row 4. Then it's Joseph Smith and Errol Urixoy, those two leading the Pro-Ams. Jeff Carollo and Logan Weider are next up on row 6, ahead of Mark Sigelkow and Michael Kulaga. Casey Metzger and Eric Kulaga make up row 8, ahead of Andrew Rasmussen and Taylor Lane. Then it's Gary Brown and Jeremy Littleton rounding out your top 20. Dean Timms and Matthew Green are just ahead of Thomas Fisher, who round out the Pro-Ams. Then we have Travis Kepler leading the AM class ahead of Drew Neubauer and James Hebb. Tom Cornett and Donald Malcolm are on row 14 ahead of Matthew Plaisance and John Casey. Then we have Stephen Martinez and Daniel Florea, Justin Delano and Michael Fowler, and Jason Bridges is at the back of the grid. So, let's have a look at what these guys can throw our way, shall we? Let us have a look at what they can throw our way. Scorelocks Gaming in the chat asking if we are on Twitch. No, we are not. We basically just stream directly to YouTube for this series and all our other iRacing series. But look at these guys now just creeping their way round to the final chicane. Still, of course, leaving quite the gap to the cars behind. It's going to be James Pearce and Tyler Campbell leading us away here. Twisted Racing versus FTR Esports. Eric Kulaga and Donald Malcolm, I think, starting from the pits. The lights come on, though, and we are underway at Donington Park for round 4 of the Race Anywhere World Series. And look at the way they fan out behind. Lydon Lee is not having anything to do with hanging back at this early stage. Dave Menino says, nah, I'm going to do my usual. I'm going to sit at the back of this pack, let you boys all scrap, and then I'm going to come forward. Watch out for Dave Menino later on, I'm telling you that, for free. Here come the Pro-Ams. Joseph Smith and Errol Urixoy at the start. Oh, Errol really waited too long there. Joseph's gone. Tyler Campbell and Daniel Tenorio are both off the road in the pros, but they come back on. Here's our big Pro-Am field making their way down towards us now. There's contact a little bit further up. Cars slowing. Anybody off? I think there was somebody off on the outside, but they managed to recover and come through. I think it might have been Eric Kulaga. 2 Team Premac cars lead the AM field. Travis Kepler and Drew Neubauer. And it's James Hebb, and then the other teammate of theirs is Tom Cornett in 4th place. Mark Sigelkow's off. Oh, big off. This is in the Pro-Ams down at the old hairpin. The other car off was Casey Metzger. He's managed to carry on in the Ferrari. Up the hill he goes. And there's more cars off. Tom Cornett, who I just mentioned there in the Premac BMW, he's lost it one way, then the other. I'm not sure if he got any help with that. Let's have a little ganders. Oh, wow, he swings it round to the left, clips the rear wheels onto the grass. I'm afraid you're not going to come back from that one, mate. Let's have a look at the front then. James Pearce leading the way. Good start for him. He crossed the line with 1.2 seconds to Lydon Lee in 2nd place. He's certainly flying. We've got multiple cars going off. Jeremy Littleton's off the road in the Pro-Ams. Oh, and he's in the wall in the Ferrari. He's in the wall. Not a good start to the races. 2 more Ferraris going at it as well. Of course, this is the Ferrari 488 GT3 Evo version of the car. It's the 2nd iteration of the 488 GT3. Wonderful, wonderful car. Looks exactly the same on the outside. Ferrari had to promise everybody it was a different car. Here's John Cooper in the Turnburn Moto Audi R8 LMS GT3. Another car that has, since the scan from iRacing, gone through multiple iterations. And that is James Pearce off the road, a race leader. James Pearce has put it off the road. I can't believe it. We've had a number of them go off. Matthew Plaisance has gone off. Oh, he's just clipped the curb. Hits the curb a bit too much. Leiden Lee just dodges him. And off he goes. Let's have a look at Matthew Plaisance. He's going to go off at the old hairpin. Oh, there's shenanigans in front. Was that Dave Menino? No, it wasn't. It was another Lamborghini. I think that might have been Tom Cornett, actually. No, sorry, it wasn't Tom Cornett. Who was that in the Lamborghini? Was it James Hebb? I believe it was James Hebb. Yeah, he's in the SRT car now. He's still down as Rhino Motorsports, but that's an SRT livery, similar to Dave Menino's car. That's why I got the two of them confused. So there's some sort of issue there between those boys. Big bit of contact, turned him around and off he went. Now look at this. Fantastic scrap between four cars here coming out of the final chicane. Leiden Lee is leading Lee at the top of the pile. He's currently in the lead, but look how close all these guys are behind. That's Jonathan Ouellette down the inside in the Ferrari. Harry Wills is in the middle getting squeezed. Somehow Dave Menino makes it through there. And he doesn't get taken off the road. Unbelievable stuff. Up the hill we go then, still fighting away. So close in this pro class. Joseph Smith leads the Pro-Ams. Again, I'm really not sure why the Pro-Ams are showing above the pros here. That's odd. Very odd indeed. Been trying to rectify that, but still no clue why. I think because one of them is a new addition, you see, in that class. Thomas Fisher. Oh no, Travis Kepler's off in the Premat BMW. He is around at the bottom of the hill. Let's have a quick look at how Travis has done this. Oh, the car just understeers, and then he gets the downshift, and then all of a sudden it snaps around on him. We've seen that quite a lot in the BMW. It gets very easily unsettled, and suddenly you've got a fight on your hands. A fight on your hands indeed, though, is Joseph Smith and Logan Weider, the two teammates in the Premat BMWs, with not Joseph Smith, Errol Urixoy trying to come through there as well. Leiden Lee's gone off the road in the Lamborghini, and he's lost the race lead now. And the rest of them are going to warble through. Look at them go. Oh, Leiden's wobbling all over the place himself. Harry Wills has been mugged here. John Cooper goes down the inside. Logan Weider's off at the front of the Pro-Ams. I can't keep up. Logan Weider loses his lead to Joseph Smith. Harry Wills and John Cooper are still side by side. And then in the AMS, this is the top three. These guys all really close together in the Ferraris. It's Martinez from Florea and Delano. And now we've got Gary Brown, who's just gone off the road and come back on very suddenly. But look at that. Florea gets a fantastic run round the outside as they go up the hill. He's going to be down the inside into McLean's, and that's a beautiful bit of driving. Nice awareness, though, from Martinez. He thinks, no, I'm not going to get in your way, mate. You just do what you need to do. Absolutely awesome racing. These two are glued together once again as well, which is Dave Menino and Jonathan Ouellette. These guys have had an amazing, amazing battle in every race I've seen them in, and Ouellette chucks it up the inside. Lovely stuff. Jonathan Ouellette car gets slightly out of shape. They might have held each other up a bit there in doing that, but still, they're having a good old ding-dong. Maybe they can try and out-strategize the rest of the cars ahead of them. Now the pros suddenly return to the top of the standings. Flipping heck. Tyler Campbell, still second place. Trying to hold off Harry Wills. Is it going to work? I don't think it is. Is he there? Can we even see him? No, it's going to be right front suspension we need to look at, because there's an Audi there somewhere. You can hear it. But no, he's actually tucked back in behind. Then you've got John Cooper behind this as well with the view of Leiden Lee's car. Look how close Leiden gets to the back of Harry Wills. Moves over to the left-hand side, moves over to the middle. Then they all go over to the right. You've got Tyler Campbell on the grass. Leiden Lee down the inside. Later on the brakes, and Harry Wills tries to slot in. There's a little bit of an overlap. Careful, boys. Leiden moves the car over to the right-hand side, avoids contact with Harry Wills. Harry's hanging it round the outside as they go down the Craner curves, right then left. Leiden's got out very wide. It's Weider and Lee. Suddenly, he tucks the car back in and makes it through. This is the Pro-Am lead. For now, Joseph Smith, Errol Urixoy around the outside of him. Errol, one of the best overtakers in World Series League's US racing. And look at the guys behind. This is all Pro-Am. This is all the Pro-Am battle here at the very front. This is fantastic racing from them. We're looking at Taylor Lane, who's got the car right down the inside. Taylor hangs it around the outside. Lovely stuff. And look at that. Through comes the newcomer, Thomas Fisher, in the Porsche around the outside up the hill into McLean's. He's going to be on the inside. Oh, you've got to love a bit of that. Fisher goes through, does he? Jeff Carollo is going to be getting a real eyeful of all of this now as the guys battle together. Back down the inside goes Logan Weider. He says, not on your life, sunshine. You're not taking that position away from me very easily. Taylor Lane's on the back of Joseph Smith just in front of this as well. Epic racing from these Pro-Ams. Down the inside goes Logan Weider. Chucks it in on the brakes. Absorbs all that energy through the curb in the BMW. And off he goes. Now, right at the front of this, Errol Urixoy has got Andrew Rasmussen right behind in the Audi, although he's already gone past us. Chose the wrong time to go to the gearbox cam, but Andrew Rasmussen now leads in the Pro-Ams. Flipping out these boys. They need to just go for a lie down, take a chill pill. And this is Florea now leading the AMs. He's got Stephen Martinez and Justin Delano just behind. As oh no, we've got a car off. Gary Brown in the Porsche. He's gone off at the old hairpin. Does come back on. Whoa, that's going to be a scary moment for Matthew Green. Manages to hold on to it. Oh no, it's Joseph Smith. Joseph Smith is off and in the wall. In a similar fashion to Anthony Reid in the British Touring Car Championship in 1998. Joseph Smith has gone spearing off the track. Did he get help? Oh, not from his teammate. Oh, bit of netcode, but Logan Weider pins his teammate off into the wall. And Joseph is still off the track. He's staying out of the way of everybody. Oh, it's devastating. Absolutely devastating. Now, Errol Urixoy has gone from leading the class to defending his lead to now being second and defending second because Taylor Lane is closing right in on him. Taylor's been fantastic. Made a great debut at Watkins Glen. Won the race. And look at that round the outside. We've got a car off. It's Jeff Carollo. But wow. Taylor Lane around the outside at Redgate. Lovely stuff. You can see all the dust and cack being thrown into the air there through the old hairpin. So many cars just dipping a wheel or two onto that dust. This is Casey Metzger. He's on the back of the first of the two Kulagas in front of him. There's been a change further up as well, by the way. Jonathan Ouellette now ahead of Leiden Lee. Tyler Campbell now behind Dave Menino, and then John Cooper still in there as well. Fantastic fight, though, for these top spots. We need to come back to this again. I know I'm flicking around a lot, but honestly, there's so many close battles. It's great to watch. Casey Metzger with Eric Kulaga right behind us. Oh, no, Eric's had an issue. Oh, there's been a big issue in the final chicane. I think there was still even a car stop there, was there? Let's have a look what happened with Matthew Green involved. Oh, the tiniest of touches. Gary Brown gets into the back of Matthew Green, who rights the 66 of Eric Kulaga. And through he goes. Leiden Lee's gone back down the inside of Jonathan Ouellette, by the way. But I don't think that Jonathan's going to take that one lying down. Michael Kulaga off the road now as well. Properly off at the old hairpin. But this is the battle for third place overall, the final podium spot. The other guys are way up the road here. Your race leader overall is Daniel Tenorio in this Ferrari. Notorious Tenorio. Whoa! No, 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 no! Into the back of Drew Neubauer. Drew was trying to play it safe and stay out of the way. I don't think that Daniel expected him to break that late. And Harry Wills is off. Oh, hello, Harry. You can't park there, mate. Harry Wills spinning the Audi. It's going to be on the brakes. Oh, he's clipped the grass. Oh, Harry. He probably saw what was going on with Drew and thought, oh, heck. Let's have a look at this again, shall we? So, Drew braking, braking, braking. Oh, there's a lot of netcode involved there, it has to be said. A lot of netcode indeed. Casey Metzger has just gone off the road on the exit of turn 1. Not sure if he got help. Drew Neubauer has gone off again. A bit further down. He's still off the road. He's off at Coppice. I think maybe the car's broken. But Drew will be absolutely raging. And Leiden Lee has jumped to the pits all of a sudden. This is all kicking off here. What's happened to Leiden? Whoa! That's some sort of wheel failure or something there. Wait, what? No. No, Leiden Lee changed up there. Has something else happened before this that has triggered something for Leiden Lee? He changed up a gear just before he went into the wall. Listen again. Ready? Yeah, at the apex of the corner, he changed up. I struggle to believe that that was a failure or an accident, because he jumped to the pit straight after. I think he's done that on purpose. I'm not quite sure what on earth could have potentially triggered that, but yeah, that was, I mean, to me at least, that looked like something that was done on purpose by Leiden Lee. It's not something you like to see. This is Errol Yuriksoy just going off the road. He's really dropping down this Pro-Am class now. He's got damage to the car. But yeah, Leiden Lee. Oh, he's actually messaged in Discord saying that his pedals are breaking. So he's obviously got some sort of issues with the pedal, or at least one of them. Oh, in his words, he said, "My pedals be breaking. It's over." So I'm not sure if he means like that the brakes are staying on while he's down the straight, or whether there's an issue with the pedals. But yeah, that was obviously a purposeful action to get the car out of the way, write it off, and race is done. So this is second place. Jonathan Ouellette, Dave Menino right behind him. Then just behind this, we've got Tyler Campbell and John Cooper, who are also stuck together. Ferrari versus Audi on their way back to the chicane once more. Really trying to monster that curb there in the Ferrari is Tyler Campbell. But for a moment, we can just take a breath. Daniel Tenorio leads the race outright, and of course the Pro category. Andrew Rasmussen leads in the Pro-Ams. He's got quite a healthy lead over Taylor Lane for now. We know how quick Taylor can be, though. There he is, just going through your shop. And Daniel Florea, well, he's not really got any sort of healthy lead over Justin Delano in the Ferrari. He's right with him now in the Eclipse Racing esports car. On board with Delano, taking it nice and gently into, oh, way up. Changes down to first for a second there, really kicks the revs up, spikes them and floors it to get a good punch off the corner. A lot of lifting and coasting going on there as well. He's really holding off the throttle before he gets to corner exit. Behind them we've got Stephen Martinez and Dean Timms, close together but of course in two different classes. Martinez doesn't want to feel like he's under any sort of pressure from Dean. He just needs to let Dean go, really. Dean actually leading the Pro-Am class as well. He's leading the Pro-Am championship, I should say. There was a car off there, wasn't there? It was Carollo off the road, but it didn't tell me that Carollo was off the road. So I'm not quite sure what the situation was with that. This is still oh so close. Justin Delano attacking Daniel Florea for the AM class lead. Oh no, Andrew Rasmussen. Rasmussen's off from the lead in Pro-Am. Oh, the purple Audi is around. Let's have a look what happened here. Oh, he just lit it up a bit too much on the exit. Clips the dust on the outside of that curb. And around it goes. So we got a glimpse there for just a second of Jason Bridges in the only Mercedes in the field, in the high side Hustlers motorsport car. Different livery to what he's previously run. I think that's a Lewis Hamilton helmet sort of replica by the look of it. It has a ham written on it, and I think he's got the Still I Rise thing on the back of it. It certainly looks like one of Lewis Hamilton's old lids, doesn't it? Chucks it through the right, through the left. You've got to love the sound the Mercedes makes. It's an incredible, incredible noise. John Casey has had a big problem. Oh, this was the Porsche that went off. Sorry, I thought it was Carollo. This is the 046 Porsche. He tries to come back on. It looks like the right rear was slightly damaged on that car. It certainly didn't look straight, but maybe it was just bit of an illusion there for a second. So, over 15 minutes of this race done. Still an hour left to go. Still a long, long way for us to go yet. We've got more cars going off. Thomas Fisher is around, the newcomer. Michael Fowler is off and in the wall at the chicane. Hopefully the car is okay to carry on. But Tenorio leads, and he's got one hell of a gap over Jonathan Ouellette. Ouellette 9.6 seconds clear. Meneno is 10 seconds off the lead, but right behind Ouellette. And Errol Uruxoy is off. Oh, Errol. He's having a very, very tough time this week, is Errol. Just missed out on the Porsche Championship yesterday. And now he's just got a little bit too hot into Coppice. And he gets back on again. But Daniel Tenorio has been doing an insanely good job so far, hasn't he? Continues to lead. That Ferrari looking very good, and he's keeping that gap very similar to Ouellette and Meneno. It's not like he's just sort of in the lead because he started at the front of the grid. You know, he's had to put in the effort to stay there, and he's still got the pace to be up there. So, good stuff from Tenorio so far. This is Michael Kulaga chasing down Gary Brown. As Gary went very, very wide on the exit of Coppice. Sometimes it can work, you know, if you carry enough speed around the outside there, keep the momentum up. That outside line can really work for you. Gary has a big old jump over the curbs as well, doesn't he? Just look at that shot there. There's cars everywhere. Absolutely everywhere in this field. No matter where you're looking. Now that is Matthew Green just in front. He's under pressure from Jeff Carollo, actually. And Jeff goes down the inside and through. Green has to get on the brakes, though, not to hit the back of him. We've got Errol Uruxoy off the track again. Errol is having the worst of it, isn't he, tonight? How has he gone off there? This is Coppice again. Oh, he's done the same thing. He's gone too wide, too fast through Coppice. And is he going to... Yep. Oh, he's going to hit the wall as well. That's such a shame. Got a shout in chat for banning a user. I'm not quite sure who you're referring to there. I'd like to be enlightened on that one. See what the case is there. Now, Jonathan Ouellette has been overtaken by Dave Meneno here for second place. Let's have a look at how he did this. Down the inside into the chicane. Lovely, lovely dive by Dave. But then Jonathan Ouellette lost a bunch of time after this. Oh, no, he didn't. Sorry, the guys have just closed right in. Felt like before they were in two entirely different battles, but now they've closed up a little bit. They are right together. Look at this. If we change it to interval on the left-hand side, that is not actually a true reflection because it's not updated yet. So we'll go back to gap. Either way, they're all very, very close. That is second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth that you see in your shot there. Very close together. Drew Neubauer has been off the road. Gets to the bottom of the hill, turns in, a little bit too tight. Car gets out of shape. Good save, though. Good save by Drew. It's not easy to do that. Not easy whatsoever. John Cooper in fifth place, right in the middle of this battle with all of the other pros around him. We've got a car in as well. Gary Brown in the pits for just a sec. We're not quite at the point where I was expecting pit stops. Usually they're between sort of 25 minutes to half an hour. As, oh, out the way there, gets one of the Porsches, I believe. That was John Casey in the 046 machine. Ironically numbered 78. Nothing to do with 46. Here's Carollo, just ahead of Justin Delano. So Justin, by the way, is leading the AM class. Jeff Carollo at the near the tail end of the Pro-Ams at the moment. He's in 8th position in his class. But there's still some moving going on. James Pearce has come into the pit lane in the pros. Man that started right at the front of the grid. But it's interesting when we get these inter-class battles going on here, because when you do get the AMs catching up with the Pro-Ams, which happens more often than Pro-Ams catching Pros, there can be a big, big pace difference. Justin Delano, though, says, stuff the pace difference, Chaz, I'm going to come into the pits. Oh, lovely. Lovely stuff. That was Harry Wills tucking it down the inside there. I think Tyler Campbell might have cut a little bit too much of Coppice and got a slowdown penalty there. And through goes the pair of Audis before you even know it. Very, very quick indeed there by those pair. Now we've got a number of cars coming into the pits. We've got a number of cars off the road. Jason Bridges is one of them. The other is Tom Cornett in the BMW. He's going to have to be careful with that rejoin. Moves over to the right-hand side. That's good stuff. He's off the racing line. These two went off together. Was the contact? This is Bridges. Oh, Cornett's lost it on his own. Oh, Bridges just sort of drives into the side of him, unfortunately. Then again, it was one of those moments. He was probably expecting the car to roll backwards. And then when it didn't, it was a, oh no, what have I done sort of situation. But as you see, they both carried on. They both got going. Oh no! Tom Cornett's certainly not improved his situation. Matthew Green's been on and off the track umpteen times. What's gone on here? Staying out of the way of Dave Menino. Goes off. Off. Oh no, he's going to go in the wall. Oh, and he's just missed the end of that tyre barrier as well. Oh, and he's jumped straight to the pits from that as well. Bit of frustration there from Matthew Green. Tom Cornett into the chicane then. This is what happened to him. Hits the first curb. Hits the second. Oh, wow. Wow, the rears just spin up very, very quickly. Now, I know we tell people to hold the brakes, but that's one of the situations where you let go of the brakes and let the car roll off the road. But then again, you can never be too sure what the car's going to do. Spins it around. He needs to get that out of there quickly. Good avoidance there from the number 9 machine. Just coming through that situation. We've got John Cooper off the road now in the Audi. He's had a nightmare going back up the hill. Daniel Florea has been off too. Flipping heck, nobody wants to finish this race. This is Florea going off. This is just at Coppice. A little bit deep up there. Oh, and he's going to spin it. Oh, Daniel. Oh, that's a painful, painful moment. This is what happened to John Cooper, so there's plenty going on here. Oh, wow, he just clips the grass. He's trying to go around the outside and just clips the grass. Such an easy mistake to make. And he's still off the road. He's creeping up the hill. He's just trying to find a decent place to get back in the pack. Harry Wills now comes into the pits from 5th position. Wow. This has certainly been a busy, busy race, and we're only 25 minutes through it so far. Still plenty left to come our way. John Cooper finally has found a spot to slot back in here, but he's a long, long way down from the leaders. Such a shame for John as well. Dave Menino is still 3rd place at the moment, championship leader. He's only going to lose 5 points to Jonathan Ouellette if it finishes as it is. And he's 15 points clear, so he'll retain his championship lead so long as Ouellette doesn't finish more than 3 places ahead of him. Because he's won more races, he's won the last 2 races as well as Dave Menino. He was classified in 4th place. He disconnected from the very first race with only about 5 minutes to go, and he led most of it. And then he won rounds 2 and 3. He's been pretty untouchable since the mishap at Silverstone. This is Harry Wills in between Eric Kulaga and Mark Sigelkow. He's just trying to make his way through the pack and get ahead of these boys so he doesn't get held up. Pro-Am leader Taylor Lane is into the pits. There's Logan Weider as well going with him. Into the very bumpy pit stalls here at Donington. That's not a glitch within iRacing. They genuinely are like that. There's like a ramp between each, well, ramp outside the garages. They really do have these steps. I've got good experiences of Donington Park. I've been around there in my friend's BMW M2 competition, which had a few bits and bobs done to it. That was a hell of a laugh in the wet, let me tell you that for free. But one of the greatest rides I've ever had in any sort of car was, I was fortunate enough to go around here in a Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 race car in the wet with their driver Charles Clark at the wheel, and boy, he was not hanging about. We were going down the Craner curves, turning the wheel to the right, but the car was going to the left. It was literally a moment from Disney Pixar's Cars. He genuinely was turning right to go left. It was insane. But it's a hell of a circuit, a hell of a fast circuit as well. It's a real high-speed roller coaster is Donington Park. This is Travis Kepler in the 27 BMW here, just staying out of the way of some of these Pro-Am drivers coming through, not staying out of the way of Gary Brown though. He's trying to keep his nose clean here. Now Rasmussen's on the back of Gary Brown. It's not easy to stay out of the way of traffic. Daniel Tenorio into the pits, by the way. Race leader comes into pit lane. He needs a nice, clean, tidy, quick stop here. Jonathan Ouellette and Dave Meneno in as well. We look now, though, at Andrew Rasmussen chasing down Gary Brown. Who's that just in front going slowly? That's 33rd place machine. Is that Matthew Plaisance in the Ferrari? It is. He's quite a while down on these guys. Some 17 minutes off the leaders. 14 laps down, so not quite sure what's happened to Plaisance. I think he was involved in one of the incidents earlier. As oh no, Gary Brown's gone off. Oh, Gary Brown's off and he's into the wall. Spins up the rears though, gets the car going again. Let's see how Gary did that. Oh, he slows down on corner exit because he was on the dirt. And I just don't think that Andrew Rasmussen expected him to do so. Casey Metzger has had a sudden jump into the pits, according to the timing, but it seems like he's okay. Jason Bridge is going off the road. Oh, he's not having a good time up at McLean's, is he? Oh, big old slide in the Merc. Manages to keep it together. Certainly doesn't seem to have been the car of choice this season, though, does it? This is Casey Metzger coming back out of the pit lane. You can see a number of the Pro-Ams going past him down the straight. Where's he going to filter back out? Just in front of Stephen Martinez, actually. Actually, no, that is not Stephen Martinez. That's race leader Daniel Tenorio. One of his teammates at Twisted as well. He goes through. There's the big burly V8 Mercedes making its way through shot. We saw Jeff Carollo and Dean Timms quite close together here as well as they make their way up the hill. These guys fighting for 9th and 10th place in the Pro-Am category. However, I think we're due a quick half-hour recap here. Daniel Tenorio leads us overall and in the Pro category. He's been doing an amazing job. Jonathan Ouellette currently in second position, some 12 seconds back. And Harry Wills just behind him in the Audi. Harry made the undercut work slightly with the pit stops. Taylor Lane is your Pro-Am class leader after Andrew Rasmussen went off a little bit earlier on. Thomas Fisher is in second place in that class on his debut in the series as well, but he's got Logan Weider right with him in that number 97 BMW, so keep an eye on him. And infiltrating through the middle of all the Pro-Ams, he's clear in his class by a good 8 positions on the road. Justin Delano of Eclipse Racing Esports. What a great drive he's having so far. Well done to Justin. Showing the rest of them how it's done so far. Stephen Martinez is just second in this class for now, because right behind him there on the road is Daniel Florea. So it's an all Ferrari top 3 in the AMs. No Ferraris in the top 3 in Pro-Ams though. That's what's quite interesting here is, oh no, James Pierce has a big old moment up the hill. Save it, save it. Oh, he's back on the grass. Save it, James, save it. Gives it a big chuck to the right. Lovely. That'll do. Matthew Plaisance has been off the road in the meantime as well, and Jeff Carollo's also had an issue. Oh, Matthew's just gone straight on. There's damage to that car. He's gone straight on up the hill. Jeff Carollo's gone off. He's in front of Dean Timms. Into Coppice. What's happening here? Is he going to try and avoid the car off the road? Oh. Let's have a look. Dean's down the inside. They're so close. There is contact. Oh, Jeff did close the gap off, but very, very slowly came across on Dean there. Dean tried to get out of it by the look of it as well. Just wasn't able to. James Pearce has carried on, though, after that little excursion, so he's okay for now. But here's Jonathan Ouellette. Car 2, P2 at the moment. Oh, more changes further down, sorry. That's Mark Sigelkow going past Gary Brown. The two Porsches changing positions there for 7th and 8th in Pro-Am. Got John Cooper here in the Audi making his way back through the pack. He's a man on a mission. He's number 7 in his class at the minute. He's a number of positions behind the Pro-Ams. Gary Brown drops it at the old hairpin. Gets the car off the road very sensibly. But that was a scary old moment. That good avoidance, it has to be said, by John Cooper. He could have easily been ignorant to that and kept his foot in it. And that is a move for position actually there. Jeff Carollo going past Stephen Martinez. It's not for position in class though, so Stephen doesn't need to worry too much. He's still 3rd in the AMS. Harry Wills, by the way, really closing in on Jonathan Ouellette here. You can hear the Audi just behind. We'll go on the rear-facing camera from Jonathan Ouellette's car. He needs to be good through this traffic here. 35 minutes in to this race. There or thereabouts. There's Martinez getting out of the way. What's the situation now for Jonathan Ouellette? Oh, James Hebb is off the road in the Lamborghini. That's down at the old hairpin. He's waiting patiently for people to go through. Oh, Bridges is off. Comes back on the circuit. Does he? Yes. It's a tricky place to come back on that because you really don't want to come on in front of, well, let's just say the race leaders who have just come through. But Jonathan Ouellette still over 10 seconds behind our race leader, Daniel Tenorio. It's been fantastic to see. 3 wide flying formation into the chicane just in front here. Daniel Florea, Jeff Carollo trying to go past as well. Staying out of the way there was John Casey. Moves the car over to the left-hand side and says, "I'm all right, thank you." John is 2 laps down on most of the field at the moment, so he's just trying to get the car to the end. I think they have to finish 50% of the race to be classified for points. Tom Cornett, by the way, has had another problem and gone off the road here. Has he just gone a little bit too hot into Redgate? Yes, he has. He's just playing it safe on the grass. Oh, car gets away from him. Over the road he goes and then gets it back together. I think he had a good look there at his relative. The little box on iRacing that tells you how far cars are away. I think he had a good old look at that there to make sure there was no one coming before he flung the car back on circuit. Now look at this, plenty of traffic for Harry Wills and Jonathan Ouellette to navigate here. Harry's going to have to be patient, very patient right now. Oh, there's cars around. Oh, that was a big, big hit, and into the pits comes Jonathan Ouellette. Jonathan got involved in that straight away. Daniel Florea is involved in that. Jeff Carollo as well. It was the Lamborghini of James Hebb. Oh, he's giving everyone a headache. I'm sorry, I couldn't help myself. What on earth happened to James Hebb? So into the chicane. 1 curb, 2 curb. And it's around. Ah. And then, yeah, the guys just pile in. Don't think they were expecting it, to be honest. I'm not sure if James held the brakes there, but Certainly didn't look like it from where we were. No, and that's the thing. For that spin, he wasn't on the brakes. It makes you wonder what might have been if he did hold the brakes. He certainly held them there. Wow, look at that from Bridges, and wow, look at that from John Casey. There goes Tyler Campbell across the grass. Let's have a look at that from Jason Bridges. He's quite a while down the road, but look, from this point, you know, you can maybe see that there's a bit of smoke, a bit of shenanigans at the chicane. No, not even now. Now you'll probably see it. You're over the crest. Whoa! That's a scary, scary moment. But again, Jonathan Ouellette's race ruined by lap traffic, incidents for others. It's been an absolute nightmare for Jonathan Ouellette this season. And we're only 4 races in. So this is Logan Weider in 3rd place. He's got Andrew Rasmussen right behind him. That's for the final podium spot in Pro-Am. These two getting closer and closer together. Looks like Andrew Rasmussen's on quite the mission as well, to be honest with you. That Audi looking very menacing behind us. Lights shining very bright indeed. Down the hill we go. Into the old hairpin, hard on the brakes. Slowly come off the brakes. Don't let the car over-rotate through there. Hard on the power up the hill. Smooth inputs on the steering. You don't want to flick it in too hard. As soon as the car goes left, you want to straighten it up. Look how much Rasmussen closed on the brakes there into McLean's. That was amazing. Massive, massive gain there from Rasmussen. Just shows how good he is on the brakes. That Audi certainly does look fast, doesn't it? Look at that, he's looking down the inside slightly there. His car's slow in front. Oh, he's trying to drive through Logan Weider. I think Logan was just a bit cautious of the BMW in front of him. That's Errol Uriksoy in the 63. Down the inside goes Rasmussen and up into 3rd place in the AM category. Nice move, good persistence, and he's through. This is Tenorio leading the race. He's in quite a bit of traffic as well. That's Sigelcow right in front of him in the Porsche. Oh, Rasmussen's off. Rasmussen's gone off at the old hairpin. And Errol Uriksoy is off as well. Now, I really hope that they weren't involved in each other's race there. Oh, that's twice in a number of laps through the hairpin that Andrew has not really reacted to the car in front of him, to be honest with you. Car in front goes slowly through the corner. It's not a situation where you want to be tapping the brakes or flicking the car around, because you will lose it. As Casey Metzger's had a little off here, tiny excursion. But that's a real nightmare for Errol Uriksoy as well. As Daniel Tenorio's off. Tenorio's out of the lead. Well, is he out of the lead? We'll have to see. Where's Harry Wills? Here he is. He's gone board with the Audi. There is Tenorio. Oh, Harry's not going to believe his luck. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Well, Harry Wills leads this race. Let's have a look what happened to Daniel Tenorio. I really hope there's not lap traffic involved here. Oh, he's just cut too much of the inside of Coppice. And around it goes, and then it takes about 3 to 5 working days to get off the grass without spinning up the rears or over-rotating the car. He's trying to get up to speed. And then Harry Wills screams on by in the V10 Audi R8. Daniel Florea has just jumped to the pits. He's just had a problem. Not quite sure what happened here. Let's have a look. Oh no, he's got to the end of the pit lane and the car is an absolute mess, so he's decided not to carry on with that one. 41 minutes of the way through this race. Still over half an hour left to go here. This is Eric Kulagra ahead of Mark Sigelcow. And then John Cooper. That's actually for position because of how many places John lost earlier on. He is down in 14th place overall. But these two cars in front of him battling for class position, so there's points at stake here. This is Dean Timms and Casey Metzger having a good old scrap too. Casey Metzger behind Dean Timms a bit earlier in this race, I think. Yes, because Casey made the mistake. But Dean now on the attack. They're both representing Twisted Racing this season. Casey with the Stars and Stripes variant of their livery, it seems. Up the hill into McLean's again. Another car off, Michael Fowler. He's fallen foul of track limits. Oh, he's just gone a little bit too wide into Coppice. Coppice is such a difficult corner. It goes over a crest of a hill. You can't see the exit. You can't even see the apex 90% of the time. So hard to get right. Now look at this. John Cooper is getting impatient here. He's waiting to turn and burn to get past Mark Sigelkow. He's just thinking, right, let me through, mate. I need this. As whoa. Bit of a blink in and out there for him. Now we've got our class leaders at the top of your screen. Harry Wills has inherited the race lead. There's his teammate behind, though, Daniel Tenorio, just there in the Ferrari. And then Taylor Lane leading the Pro-Ams in the fiercely forward BMW. Certainly looks good, doesn't it? What a great race Taylor's having. Started 18th overall, did Taylor. And he's gained 12 places now to be 6th overall. In the Drivers' Championship, he didn't take part in the first race. He took part of the second race at Watkins Glen and won. And then that puts him on 190 points. That's combined with his round 3 result anyway. Championship leader in this class is Dean Timms. Now, he's only 30 points ahead. So, right now, the championship lead will go to Taylor Lane because you lose 5 points per position and there's 9 positions between them. So that's 40 points that Taylor's going to get over Dean. Although, maybe a few less now because Casey Metzger's just gone off. Can Dean go back past him? Looks to the left. Oh, gets his nose down the inside, but he's going to be on the outside for McLean's. No, not able to do it this time. Still, great Ferrari versus Ferrari fight, though. Listen to that on the rev limiter. Not sure Dean is actually revving it out that far, because don't forget there is a tiny bit of a render delay between what these guys are doing and what my sim is showing us, so I don't think he is revving it all the way out to the red line like that. As down the inside goes John Cooper on Eric Kulaga. It's for position overall, but not class position, as mentioned before. We've got John Cooper just sort of recovering through the field here. He's pushing that Audi all the way up. Drew Neubauer's gone off. Oh, Drew's off big time. That's on the exit of turn 1 there. Not sure if he got some help, but he comes back on. He's staying clear of everyone else. Oh, it's gone around. Oh, and he does get hit. That's Harry Wills. That's race leader. Harry Wills, and he's off. Harry's gone off. What's happened here then? Through the crane of curves. Oh, no. Oh, no. Dan. Oh, Tenorio hits Harry Wills into the pretty much the exact same spot Harry went into earlier. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe it. Michael Fowler's gone off the road as well. That's him recovering. Oh, wait. Was it Michael that hit him? No, Michael was behind it all. Gets completely distracted by the situation unfolding in front of him. Jonathan Ouellette stopped as well. I think his car is still broken. He's going to come out of the pits and say no. Or is he? No, he does get going. Jonathan Ouellette does get going. But wow, big change then. Tenorio takes the race lead. Not in a way that he would have wanted, though, surely. Takes his teammate, and not to forget to mention series admin, teammate out of the race. Well, at least out of the lead for now. James Hebb's had another issue in his Lamborghini. I think maybe he's just waiting for people to go on by. Yeah, he's just playing it safe there, isn't he? Jason Bridges went off the road in the Mercedes. This is just at the final chicane. I think he might have already been off before this. But Daniel Tenorio then back in this race lead. Dave Menino, second place so far. There he is. Still with a very, very clean car, it must be said. I did tell you earlier, didn't I? Look out for him because he's going to be coming through this pack so sneakily. And now he's right there near the front of the field. This is a three-way Ferrari fight in the Pro-Am category. Dean Timms chasing down Casey Metzger and Eric Kulaga. Casey looks to the inside of Eric. He's a little bit later on the brakes, gets his nose down the inside, tucks it in nicely through Coppice. Can Dean follow him through down the inside? Dean leading the Pro-Am Championship. Needs positions, needs points, because Taylor Lane at the top will take the championship lead as things go. Dean gets in front, filters over to the left. Oh, he's a bit late on the brakes though, nearly into the back of Casey Metzger. Casey would have had a big old scare then, flipping out. That wouldn't have been a comfortable situation. Andrew Rasmussen's on his way out of the pits, so he filters through his second stop. Eric Kulaga has also pitted twice as well, actually. Look at these pair now down the hill. Dean Timms trying to get past Casey Metzger. Goes around the outside of the first part of the Craney Curves and down the inside of the second part. It really is one of those circuits where you can make those sorts of moves. It really flows nicely from one corner to the next. This is James Hebb going off the road in his Lamborghini. He's had a real tough time today, hasn't he? The car really didn't want to rotate there, did it? Really didn't want to rotate. Certainly wasn't playing ball, that's for sure. So the race continues then. Just having a look at how many drivers we have out of the race. And at the moment, it's quite a number. 8 drivers out of the race so far. Namely, Donald Malcolm, we didn't see him take the start. Joseph Smith, Lyden Lee, Matthew Green, Tom Cornett, Jeff Carollo, Daniel Florea, and Gary Brown, all out of this race so far. Closest battle on track is this one between Casey Metzger and Dean Timms. This is for 6th and 7th in Pro-Am. Casey's going to try and go down the inside. Tries to go a little bit later on the brakes. Has to really tuck it in through McLean's. Can't quite get the job done yet, though, on his fellow Ferrari driver. Fisher is in the pits, Thomas Fisher. Justin Delano, by the way, I must say, what an amazing drive by Justin Delano. He's just come into the pits now, typically, while I was trying to look at him. But this man, Justin, started this race a long way down. He's gained 20, well, by the time when he come into the pits, he'd gained 24 places from where he started. As Logan Weider's gone off the road. Oh, that's a big off as well. Logan was chasing Taylor Lane for the lead of Pro-Am, and it's not worked out for him, I'm afraid. Big moment on the exit of the old hairpin. Oh, wow, Dean. I held my breath for a second there. Unbelievable. Gary Brown has said that he actually got disqualified from the race. Too many incident points. He says today was my first time on this track and it shows. And that might not even be his drop week either, which is a real shame. Gary was 3rd in the championship as well in Pro-Am. Something tells me he's going to drop down quite a bit after this one, I'm afraid. But still, the battles go on. Dean Timms goes into the pits, actually. He decides that now is a good time to get his second stop done. He wasn't planning on getting held up any further in battling Casey Metzger. Here's Dave Menino continuing his chase of race leader Daniel Tenorio. Dave has been so quick all season. It's great to watch him. Down the Craners once again we go. Into the right. Car behind him goes a little bit wide through there. That's Matthew Plaisance just trying to make up ground on people. He's 15 laps down off the leader, but he's going to overtake Daniel Florea in a lap or so. Maybe it's 13 laps down. Jeff Carollo as well. He's only another lap or so ahead of Plaisance for overall position anyway, so Matthew's just doing what he needs to do here. He's just getting the car around, clocking the laps. Michael Fowler's just had a bit of a tiny excursion down the hill here at the old hairpin, but if we had a quid, honestly. So, Delano still leads the AMS, 19 places gained from where he started, and he's 14th. That's one hell of a drive so far. Michael Kulaga is under pressure here from Mark Sigelkow in that Porsche there, the 034 Racing Machine. Got some very spammy fans in chat, haven't we? Apologies for those, everybody. There's really nothing we can do about them. It's very frustrating. Andrew Rasmussen is close behind Thomas Fisher. Thomas was much further up in the class earlier on, but unfortunately he's lost quite a bit of ground to where he was. Here's Drew Neubauer. Oh, Drew's just gone a little bit too twitchy into the old hairpin there, and off he goes. And Harry has said that with that last moment, that's it, race is over. Absolutely devastating. Oh, James Hebb's off again. Whoa. Wow, no one's having any fun at the old hairpin, are they, really? Some of these guys really struggling with it. Look at this, Kulaga just holding on ahead of Mark Sigelkow in the 034 Motorsport Porsche. Very close battle indeed. But right now, Kulaga doing everything he needs to do. Now these guys have only pitted once, so they need to come in again at some point soon. Taylor Lane is in a different league at the moment. With the times, as down the inside goes Sigelkow way too deep into the chicane. And through comes Casey Metzger. Casey says thank you. Oh, Sigelkow wanted to come into the pits. Very opportunistic from Casey Metzger. Fantastic bit of driving. But Sigelkow there just turned into the side of him. There's no other word for it. Don't quite think he knew that Casey had that much of a run, but still they're side by side. This is Casey and Michael Kulaga. On the inside he goes, both running stars and stripes in their own way. Oh, big wobble by Kulaga. Somehow Casey holds on around the outside. That was fantastic. Fantastic driving by Casey Metzger. Great to watch, that was. Absolutely great to watch. This is on board as he comes into the chicane. Look at this. That's fantastic opportunism. Yeah, Sigelkow just tries to get into the pits and just turns into him, unfortunately. Drew Neubauer went off the road not long after we were looking at those guys. I think he's had an issue down at turn 1. He's got Fisher just behind him there in the Porsche. Up towards Redgate. Onto the brakes. He's just staying out of the way. Oh, and he's just looped it. Loops it on his own. Making sure that he doesn't cause a problem for the guys lapping him. Daniel Tenorio, your race leader, is into the pits. And he's going to be taking his final service of the race just before the 1 hour mark here. Now Eric Kulaga is chasing down Michael Kulaga. Tyler Campbell also in the pits. Not seen too much of Tyler in this race, but he's been performing very well indeed, it has to be said. He's been in the hunt at least. But the number 66 Ferrari of Eric Kulaga chases down the number 83 Ferrari of Michael Kulaga, and that there is John Casey just staying out of the way. He's 7th in the AM class at the moment. Currently a number of laps down on our race leaders, but still he's keeping the car clean. This is Thomas Fisher, new to the championship tonight, certainly making his mark. He's really pushing. He's not one of these newcomers that just pootles around at the back, is he? Andrew Rasmussen there trying to get the better of him. In the bright purple Audi, he has to almost get out of it as he goes over the curb on the exit of Redgate. And down the hill we go. So important through the old hairpin to get a good run. And here comes Rasmussen. I mean, it's a very, very good looking car, that Porsche, so I don't mind being down here looking at it. Up the hill into Coppice, and look, it's very, very blind at Coppice, especially when you've got the sun in your eyes as well. That's definitely not going to be a help, is it? To the guys trying to go up there. Got quite the gap between a number of drivers now. Casey Metzger and Eric Kalaga both into the pits in the two Ferraris. I'm surprised that Casey actually got away with parking that far out of the box there. It's on quite the angle and quite far away, but he made it work. Oh, Drew Neubauer's been off again. Oh no, this was the moment that we saw a moment ago. Apologies, Drew. It was Jason Bridges that went off, sorry. They were right together on the timing screen. Jason's going to clip the grass. Did us a very, very good job not to over-rotate that. So let's have a look on the left-hand side, those that have pitted once, those that have pitted twice. It's Michael Kulaga that we're still waiting for in the Pro-Ams. Travis Kepler has just come in. And then in the AMs, it is Michael Fowler, currently in 4th place, that hasn't completed his second stop. What? Michael Kulaga is running out of fuel. Wow, I was just going to say, why were there no revs coming out of that thing? But he's properly run it out of fuel there. He's really extended this second stint. Right to the limit. He's quite lucky to get away with that. He's going to have lost a bucket load of time. Well, the car that was coming through there, I thought it was Dave Menino at first in the Lamborghini, but still I'm getting them confused. It was actually the other Lamborghini of that colour anyway, James Hebb, in the number 76 car, making his way past. Just about to hit the 1 hour mark here at Donington Park. Hope you've been enjoying the stream so far with me, Chaz Draycott. Been a good old laugh this race. It was chaos earlier on. Still a number of cars having incidents and spins and all sorts, but great racing all the same. Fantastic entertainment once again from a World Series Leagues organised series. And we hope, of course, you viewers are enjoying yourselves, so much so that you could give the video a like at least on YouTube and give us a subscribe. We'd very much appreciate it. Plenty coming your way, not just in terms of the sim racing, but some news as well. News for Casey Metzger is that gravel traps are not the place to be. Michael Fowler has also just had his own issue. Oh, Casey just loops the back end on the way up the hill into McLean's. Michael Fowler, sorry, went off at the same time, and then Jason Bridges has had a sudden stop. Whoa, gets onto the anchors on the way into the chicane. And I think Jason jumps to the pits. He does. So clearly not a happy bunny with how things are going at the moment. Jumps into the pits. So less than 15 minutes of this race left to go now. Daniel Tenorio still leads the way in the number 17 Twisted Racing Ferrari. What a great job he's done over the course of this race. I can't imagine it'll go down much better than a cup of cold sick with Harry Wills, based on the fact that he punted him out of the lead, but still, tremendous effort, it has to be said. But right now, with 15 minutes to go, Dave Menino is looking very ominous once again. The championship leader, 2 race wins to his name this season. The only race he hasn't won was because he disconnected right near the end. He had a failure with only a few minutes left. Dave Menino could be the man to beat in this championship. He already is, to be honest with you. But with how things look right now, he could be the man to beat in this race. Certainly closing in on Tenorio. Andrew Rasmussen is also closing in on that Porsche right there. Thomas Fisher quite literally on the fishing hook right now, and Rasmussen's trying to reel him in. Listen to this Audi. Just over 500 horsepower's worth of 5.2 litre V10, that is, screaming its way to over 8,000 RPM down the straights, all the way up through the gears. Incredible looking and incredible sounding car. James Pearce has had one too many offs, it seems. Oh, he's been hit in the back by Casey Metzger. Oh, and I think he might have... Oh, yeah, that's a rage quit if I've ever seen one. Real shame that for James Pearce. Real shame as there's contact between Rasmussen and Fisher. Fisher somehow holds on to it down towards the old hairpin. I don't know how that Porsche didn't go around there. It's not like the Porsche needs much help on its own to spin the weight of the rear around. Flipping heck. Unbelievable. Michael Kulaga is chasing down... Sorry, Mark Sigelkow is chasing down Michael Kulaga. Casey Metzger is off the road again. I think his day is done. I think some of these drivers are hitting the incident point limit around here. It's easy to pick up an incident point. For those of you that don't know, on iRacing, if you go outside track limits, you get what's known as an incident point. You basically get a limit of how many times you can do that before you either get a drive-through penalty or a disqualification. You get one, they call it an X because it's 1 times an incident point, effectively. They call it a 1X when you go off for just track limits. You can get anything from 0 to 2 for spinning the car, and you can get anything from 0 to 4 for contact with other cars. And around here, the track limits are quite harsh at Donington Park, so we have seen already a number of these guys hit that incident limit. I mean, some of them, James Pearce, for example, he's showing up as having 21 off tracks, as they're called, which is outside of track limits. That's just in the SDK gaming software we use to broadcast these races, though. It's not always completely spot on. But still, if he has got 21, then that explains a lot. Daniel Tenorio is going to be very cautiously looking in his rear view mirror, because this Lamborghini that we're on board with right now, Dave Meneno, is chasing him down. In terms of the last lap times, though, Tenorio was a 1/10 of a second quicker, but Meneno is putting the pressure on here from second place. There's a bit of traffic in front of them at the chicane as well. Tenorio might... Don't think he's necessarily getting held up by them there. Let's just see what the lap times look like as they cross the line. Tenorio does a 1 minute and 4 seconds .1. Dave Meneno 1:04.0. That gap comes down to around half a second now. And that Lamborghini, I mean, it looks menacing 90% of the time anyway. Looks even more menacing right now. Taylor Lane still continues to lead in the Pro-Ams. He's got a 12-second lead over Andrew Rasmussen, who's then got another 11 seconds over Logan Weider. Justin Delano doing a brilliant job at the top of the order in the AMS. He is currently 46 seconds clear of Stephen Martinez. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Justin Delano. Hats off. Less than 10 minutes to go now here at Donington Park. Really hope you've enjoyed this race as much as I have. We're not even at the halfway point of the season yet either. Trust me, it's going to get even more frantic and even more fraught. But we look then at this race lead battle, because Tenorio is still about half a second. They were pretty much identical in terms of their previous lap times. Tenorio is pushing hard now. Just under 9 minutes left. That's still quite a lot of laps of Donington Park, though. Like I said, it's just over a minute. 1 minute and 3 seconds is the fastest lap of the race. Just looking at some of the guys that retired earlier, see what their pace was like. Yeah, fastest lap of the race is by Daniel Tenorio, a 1:03.61. Very, very fast indeed. Leiden Lee actually did a 1:03.61 early on as well, actually, but I think it's just a bit quicker for Daniel Tenorio. Maybe just a couple of thousandths. On my timing screen, I only get it to the nearest hundredth of a second, you see. This is Mark Sigelkow chasing down Eric Kulaga. This is for 6th place in their class. Once again, Pro-Am being one of the closest classes. There's a whole host of drivers doing all sorts of things here. Whoa, John Cooper's off the road. John Cooper's had a big old off down at the old hairpin. Let's have a look. Oh, it just goes so slowly. It's that horrible lazy spin that the Audi does. I've got a lot of experience of it doing that on me. I hate it. It's so painful because there's not really anything you can do about it. You can try to correct it quickly and catch it early on, but all you're going to do is throw the car in the opposite direction into the nearest solid object. So I think, really, John just had to sort of live with that and just be like, okay, well, we're going around now. The car has decided we're going over there. Here's a battle between Thomas Fisher and Logan Weider. This is for the final podium spot in the Pro-Ams. This would be great for Thomas Fisher if he can get that on his debut. We get a nice close-up look at the BMW M4 GT3 rear end. The old hairpin doesn't look like a sharp corner when you get to it, does it? But it really is. You cannot go flat through there. We're going to get very close to this BMW. It certainly looks nice from this angle. Oh, there's a bit of a door open there for Thomas, but no, nothing doing yet. Oh, he has to keep just tapping the brakes, getting out of it. He's very, very much showing Logan that he's quicker than him at the moment. He's going to get good slipstream here out of Coppice. Down the back straight we go. Over to the right-hand side. The two of them magnetised towards each other. Later on the brakes goes Fisher. Down the inside. Lovely move. Welcome to the Race Anywhere World Series. Thomas Fisher, the Canadian, up into 3rd place. 3 different nationalities in the top 3 right now. But we are just over 5 minutes away from the end of this race. And Daniel Tenorio is just over 5 millimetres away from Dave Menino. These two getting closer by the lap. The gap is now just under 0.4 of a second. 0.36 as they crossed the line last time. Dave Menino has been supreme in terms of his pace. Another 1/10 of a second faster last time round, just to eke that gap a little bit more. Or eat away at that gap, I should say. Climbing up the hill once more towards McLean's. Dave keeps it really smooth around there. Daniel looks a little bit quicker on the exit though. But Dave certainly smoother on the initial turn in as he guides that Lamborghini round. 5 minutes to go. Not quite sure what happened to my voice and or accent at the end of that. I do apologise. Mark Sigelkow, by the way, has a bit more daylight between himself and Eric Kulaga now. It's about 0.6 of a second. So Eric in a little bit more safety here. I think right now, though, the race is slightly calmer than it has been as the drivers just make their way to the end of the race. That's the 27 car just in front of our race leaders there. That is Travis Kepler. He makes sure that he is well out of the way, although Menino would have had to tighten his line through the left-hander up the hill. Means he's all the way over to the left, though, to open up. McLean's at the top, up towards Coppice. You've got to love this. You've got to love this. A chase right at the end of this race. The other two classes are separated by 10 seconds and then 46 seconds. These lot separated by not even half a second. I reckon we'll have 3 laps to go this time round for Daniel Tenorio. He's going to be cursing this circuit, saying, why is it such a short lap? Let me just do 1 lap and call it. I'm afraid, though, it's not that simple here at Donington Park, and it's not that simple here in the Race Anywhere World Series. This is full-blown hardcore sim racing right now. These guys throwing just the odd 1/10 of a second at each other. It's great. Tenorio was faster on that lap. Here's Sigelkow still trying to get past Kulaga. and using a bit more than just the road to do it. He's got a great run up the hill, puts his nose down the inside. Does he open the door? No, Eric says, no thank you. Carries good pace through McLean's though, does Sigelcow. He's going to put his nose down the inside. Eric needs to give him the room. Oh, it looked like Eric turned in there, but no, it's just the camera angle. But through goes Mark, up into 6th position in his class. Now, can he hold on to it? That's going to be the next question, because Eric not really getting any sort of slipstream down that back straight through the final chicane. Yeah, and off up the road goes Mark Sigelcow. Good stuff from him. Nice and tidy racing there between those two, it must be said. As, oh no, a bit of a blink in and out there for Mark. That's exactly the last thing you want at this stage of a race. Right then, we have 2 minutes to go as of right now. What is Tenorio going to be able to do? Can he hold on? Is Meneno just holding back a little bit until the final lap to give it a big push? Hopefully not a literal push. Dave doesn't race like that. That's not what he does. Cars staying well out of the way on the right-hand side there. Now we're going to have 2 more laps to go this time. Just over a minute a lap. They've got a minute and a half now to get it done. So, Meneno starting to move around a little bit. Tenorio goes a bit defensive. Dave puts his nose down the inside. Doesn't get alongside him though, and if anything, he's actually cost himself a little bit of time there, has Dave. It was 0.2 of a second over the line. It's 0.4 now as they go down the hill. Through the right, through the left at Craners. Meneno pushing hard, but Tenorio, it has to be said, has been absolutely brilliant at the top end of this field throughout the whole race. There was, of course, the altercation with Harry Wills that will not go down well, but that is stuff to be talked about afterwards. So just under 45 seconds left, and we will get 1 more lap then out of Daniel Tenorio and Dave Meneno. There's been a change further back. Logan Weider has been overtaken by Dean Timms, who has actually made it up to 4th place in the class right now. He's done a great job. Here's Michael, sorry, this is Jonathan Hewlett leaving the pits, but Michael Fowler has had an issue. Into the chicane. Oh, just runs. Whoa, clips the grass. Oh, and that's a big old hit. And that's almost race ending there, but we need to come back to this. Tenorio versus Meneno, 1 final lap, then they're down at the old hairpin. The timer hits 1 hour and 15 minutes now. This is definitely the last lap, and I think Meneno's done it. I think Meneno's done himself in. I think he might have got a slowdown or something through the old hairpin. Oh, that's gutting. Did that car sound like it was spitting? He's taking a bit less fuel. I'm wondering whether he's having to save fuel. Oh, we've got Mark Sigelcow off the road after that overtake before. But into the final corner, everybody. Your race winner, round 4 of the championship, goes to Daniel Tenorio. What a brilliant drive that was by the Twisted Racing Ferrari driver. Dave Meneno keeps a strong haul of points on the board with 2nd place. Great drive. And Tyler Campbell is going to come home as car 3, P3. Where is everybody else? Justin Delano has just crossed the line, and he wins the AM class by a massive margin. Absolutely massive margin. Very well done to him. Tyler Campbell finishes 3rd overall. And Sigelcow just finishes ahead of Kulaga there. Taylor Lane is going to take his 2nd win of the season in the Pro-Ams. Very well done to Taylor. You can see that that means a lot to him. Jonathan Hewlett throws it at the wall after a very frustrating evening. Andrew Rasmussen, after all of the trials and tribulations, is going to come home 2nd. And Thomas Fisher, the Canadian. Fantastic drive by Thomas tonight. He's going to round out your Pro-Am podium. What a great way to make a debut in the championship. Very well done indeed. But what about Daniel Tenorio, eh? What a guy. Very, very impressive indeed by Daniel. And that number 17 Ferrari certainly gave him a strong platform to take a race win and a hell of a lot of points. awesome drive. Let's take a look at some results then, shall we? Your pro field and overall field won by Daniel Tenorio, just over a second ahead of Dave Meneno, with Tyler Campbell finishing 23 seconds off the lead in third place. John Cooper finishes fourth, 1 lap down, with Jonathan Ouellette, 11 laps? I don't know where I got that from. 8 laps down in fifth. James Pearce was classified 13 laps down, with Harry Wills 25 laps down, and Leiden Lee, after his pedal problem, unfortunately had to retire very early on. Next up was Taylor Lane, though, winning the Pro-Am class for the second time this season. It's 3 a.m. here in the UK. Give me a break. Andrew Rasmussen, 9.2 seconds back. Great drive by him, considering everything that went on. Thomas Fisher rounds out your podium and the cars that are on the lead lap. Those guys that are 1 lap down are Team Dims? Dean Timms. Oh, I'm really messing this one up. Eric Kilaga, Mark Sigelkow, Michael Kilaga, and Logan Weider. Errol Uriksoy was 3 laps down, Jeremy Littleton 10 laps down, Casey Metzger 14 laps down, with Jeff Carollo, Gary Brown, Matthew Green and Joseph Smith much further back than that. In the AMS, last but not least, it was Justin Delano taking the win by 50 seconds. Absolutely amazing by Justin Delano, very well done indeed. Stephen Martinez finishes second, and he is the last car on the lead lap. Travis Kepler is 1 lap down. Michael Fowler and Drew Neubauer are 2 laps down. John Casey is 4 laps down. Matthew Playson 16 laps down. Jason Bridges 17 laps down. And then we have James Hebb, Daniel Florea, Tom Cornett and Donald Malcolm not completing their race. So it's usually about this time that we get some drivers in for a quick chat. And one of them that we have to speak to, really have to speak to, after a very impressive drive, albeit for one moment that I imagine we're going to have a quick chat about now, is Daniel Tenorio. Dan, you must be absolutely over the moon with that one, mate, because despite the little contact with your teammate, everything fell into place, didn't it?
Yeah, that was amazing. I'm sweating right now. trying to hold off Dave for the last 20 laps that was a job.
I can imagine.
But yeah, that was really unfortunate with my teammate. I'm not sure exactly what happened. He broke super early going into that right-hander. I'm not sure what was happening. I know his car was a little damaged, but yeah, I'm gonna go talk to him right after this.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It was it's just one of those sort of miscommunication. I can't even get the word right. Miscommunication moments of motorsport, isn't it? You know, you've got guys doing all different braking points, different turning points. You know, the cars are very different as well. It's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, I think. And I think Dean was suffering from a few moments earlier on in that corner, so maybe just hanging back a bit. But either way, a strong drive, a fantastic defence from Dave at the end. Did you feel like you really had to defend that hard, or was it just all about flat-out driving and then seeing what Dave could do?
A little bit of both, really.
Yeah.
I saw him look to the inside into the chicane a couple times, and in my head I was like, there's no way he's going to go for it. But then there's always that 10% chance of if he does, then you have to defend. But yeah, I was pretty much just driving flat out, made a few mistakes, but thankfully was able to hold on.
Well, certainly it was an absolutely brilliant win, mate, and of course really does help your championship out. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. Is there anybody that you'd like to give a quick shout out to while I've got you?
Just as usual, just my Twisted teammates, just bouncing setups off of each other and getting the best result for the team.
Lovely stuff. Well, great to speak to you, mate. Very well done on that win. It was absolutely awesome, and we look forward to seeing you do it again another time very, very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers. Just realised there that I actually had the graphic up for Daniel Florea for the whole time. I'm really sorry, Mr. Tenorio, but what a brilliant win that was. Absolutely brilliant indeed. Another driver that took a very convincing victory there, and 4th place overall was a good mate of mine, Taylor Lane. Taylor, you must be a very happy boy right now. We saw the car wiggling across the line. Is that just the tip of the iceberg?
Oh, definitely. That was a brilliant race. It was quite lonely in my race, but yeah, it was just about keeping clean, not spinning the car.
And that's easier said than done sometimes in the BMW, isn't it?
Yeah, it doesn't like the curbs very much, and you have to load up the suspension through because this track's very fast and flowing. You're constantly loading up the car, and as soon as you hit a curb in the wrong way, it will just spit you around before you can even blink.
Yeah, we saw a number of drivers having moments tonight, and nobody was immune from it really, but that's just the nature of some of these circuits that we're going to be visiting, though, isn't it? Certain drivers have different talents at certain places. Are there any other tracks on the calendar that you feel you could really overcome anyone that comes your way?
I actually haven't looked at the calendar. So I'm just taking it one race at a time right now.
Well, I don't blame you, mate. I think I'd probably do the same, to be honest. But then again, there's a reason I'm a commentator and not a driver. Either way, Taylor, it was absolutely awesome to see you get another win in the beautiful, I must say, fiercely forward BMW. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout-out to?
Love to give another big shout-out to you, man. Running these streams on your own is not an easy feat, but you still knock it out of the park every week.
Thank you, mate.
Also like to give another shout-out to Harry and Dean. They're running great leagues as always. Yeah, that's it.
Lovely stuff. Well, very well done on the win, Taylor. I'm sure you probably want to go to bed as much as I do, with it being nearly 3 a.m, but I know you're quite the night owl, so maybe not.
I've got to get off work in about 2 hours.
Oh, love it. Absolutely love it. Well, I hope that the work day is kind to you, mate, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Thanks, man.
Cheers. And, of course, we have to speak to our AM class winner. 8th place overall, 25 places gained, and a 50-second advantage. Justin Delano. Justin, you're on another planet to the rest of the field tonight. I bet you're absolutely over the moon with it.
Oh, absolutely. I don't even think it was my pace outright. I think I just played the strategy just right.
Well, that's it. I mean, half the battle is strategy sometimes, and especially around a short track like this as well. Only just about a minute a lap. You have to really, really plan when you're going to come in and when you're going to sort of make sure you don't get held up with traffic, because you were lapping so many cars tonight, even in the AM category, weren't you?
Yep. Yeah, that's why I came in for my first pit stop, is I was behind some of the Pro-Am guys. And I just happened to squeak by them on strategy, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the word I used earlier was you infiltrated the Pro-Am class, because you really, all of a sudden, you were up there. You were ahead of more Pro-Ams than you were actually behind. So it was very impressive to see that. Was there anything that certainly clicked with you in the car tonight, or did you just find it easier to get into a flow round here? Because it's a very, very lovely high-speed circuit.
Oh, absolutely. I'd never raced this before, and I'm glad I did it for this series, because I was just in my zone. I held my lap times pretty consistent the whole race, and I put my head down and drove.
Well, it certainly worked for you, mate, and of course big championship points on the board, so it's certainly going to be an interesting season for you if you can keep that up. Are you looking forward to the next round of the season?
Oh, absolutely. I haven't even looked to see where it's at yet.
We're at Spa-Francorchamps.
Oh, yeah.
In Belgium.
I've been trying to get a setup for that, and I just have not found luck, so hopefully it goes better in this next week or so.
Well, fingers crossed for you, mate. I look forward to seeing how you get on there. Is there anyone you'd like to give a quick shout-out to?
I've just got to say thanks to my team again for getting me in, and the sponsors and everybody who put this on.
Lovely stuff. Well, great to speak to you, Justin. Well done again, mate. That was very impressive. I look forward to seeing how you get on at Spa.
Thank you.
Cheers. There we go, Justin Delano. And one quick final interview. Normally we only do 3 of these, but I think he's worth a very good mention tonight. Is the man that finished 3rd place in the Pro-Am category, newcomer to the championship as well, Thomas Fisher. Thomas, you must be...
I was supposed to do it from the start, but unfortunately had a bit of an accident and ended up in hospital. So obviously, after all that ordeal, I'm back now. And the last time I was racing in this league a couple seasons ago, I was competing for podiums on the regular. So now straight back into it, couldn't have gone better.
Yeah, definitely. Well, of course, we hope you recover quickly and as well as possible from your accident, mate. Glad to hear that you're, of course, back out the other side and still pushing on with the sim racing side of things, because, people often forget how physically demanding sim racing still is, don't they? I mean, the sort of wheels we use, the pedals, the rigs, all of it. It's still a very physical sport, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I have a direct drive wheel capable of 18.6 Newton meters of torque. Oof. And I run it on 100%, and my wrists and shoulders are finished after 75 minutes around here.
I can imagine, mate. Flipping heck, I can't even turn it once before my arm wants to fall off, so hats off to you. But that is absolutely awesome, though. It's great to sort of hear these stories about drivers, coming back in and just cracking on with it. We go to Spa-Francorchamps next time out. Are you excited about that one?
Definitely. Spa is a good track for me. It always has been. Had decent pace around there, but I know it's one of the weaker ones for the Porsche, just because the Porsche is naturally a bit of a higher downforce car. Mm-hmm. So up through Eau Rouge and Radion, we're super quick, and all through the middle sector as well. But through the rest of the first and third sectors, I mean, we're going to be absolutely nowhere. So we're going to have the Porsche trimmed out and just try and send it as much as we can. But hopefully my race does go a little bit better than tonight. Obviously I had a bit of a spin and then got a drive through from. I actually got about 15x just from when I came out of the pit lane and was surrounded by the leaders. So it was just a bit of an unfortunate situation that I got involved in then. But hopefully it all goes a little bit better next week, and then I can challenge for the win like I thought I was going to be able to tonight.
Well, still, you never know what could come your way at Spa. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. I think surviving is half the battle won, really, in this series at the minute. Everyone's still getting used to each other and pushing the cars to the limit. It's still great entertainment from where I am. Is there anybody you'd like to give a quick thanks to while I've got you, Thomas?
Yeah, well, big cheers out to Volta Motorsport. So Stephen Martinez, Michael Kalaga, Eric Kalaga, and Jeff Corolla. Big shout out to them. They've been absolutely brilliant in welcoming me back to the team and helping me get back into the championship as well, even after I missed the first 3 rounds of it. Big thanks, obviously, to everyone around me for helping me bring me back. Thanks to my girlfriend for supporting me. I think she's watching tonight, so thanks to her, and thanks to you guys, especially doing the broadcast. I know it's a tiring job, having done it myself. So, big shout out to you guys. Thank you very much for obviously bringing it to be able to bring it to our friends and family who want to watch the race.
Thank you very much. It certainly keeps me awake at this time of the morning and doing it all single-handedly as well, to be fair. So,
that
yeah.
must be fun.
I love it, mate. Absolutely love it. I wouldn't change it for the world. But thank you very much for chatting to me, Thomas. Absolutely brilliant stuff today, and I look forward to seeing how you get on next time round, mate. Have a good evening.
Cheers. Thanks very much, Chaz.
Cheers. Thomas Fisher, what a lovely guy as well. Fantastic to hear that, of course, he can come back from an injury and still have the pace and just crack on with the job. I love hearing about stuff like that. Absolutely one of the best bits about sim racing. You get such these fantastic people that are just so down to earth, and you can speak to them about all of their performances and everything that's going on. Anyway, Daniel Tenorio takes a very, very impressive victory at the top end of the field. Taylor Lane wins in the Pro-Ams, and Justin Delano takes an incredible victory in the AM class. But that, unfortunately, is all we have time for here tonight on Absolute Sim Racing in the Race Anywhere World Series. I've been Chaz Draycott. I'll catch you in a week's time at Spa-Francorchamps, everybody. But for now, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. I'll catch you next time round. Good night.